Right now, in this exact moment as you watch this, your name is being spoken in a room you have never walked into, by people you have never met, in a conversation you are never supposed to know about, and what they are saying about you is changing the entire direction of your life. This is not metaphor. This is not motivational language designed to make you feel better about where you are. This is a literal spiritual event that has been triggered by something you did, something you built, something you refused to quit, and the echo of that decision has traveled further than you ever calculated to Kadat in the entire recorded archive of spiritual law. The phenomenon of a name traveling into rooms of influence before the body arrives has only ever been activated for souls carrying a specific grade of divine assignment. It does not happen through networking. It does not happen through strategy. It cannot be manufactured through self-promotion or visibility campaigns. It is triggered exclusively when a soul has reached a threshold of authentic contribution, so rare that the universe itself begins to function as a publicist. What is happening around your name right now bypasses every human system of recognition and operates through a mechanism that most people on this planet will never experience in an entire lifetime. And here is where this becomes undeniable. For you personally, think about the last 48 hours. Think about the work you did that no one saw. The effort you put into something when you had every logical reason to do less, to cut corners, to produce something adequate instead of something excellent. There was a moment recently where you were tired, where the results were not matching the effort, where quitting or coasting would have been completely justified, and you chose to bring your full standard anyway. That decision, that private act of excellence when no audience was present, was the exact moment your name was released into rooms. You have not yet entered. What you were never told is that your consistency has been under active surveillance by forces operating on both sides of the spiritual spectrum. The dark forces that govern mediocrity and stagnation have been watching you with increasing anxiety, because every time you chose excellence over ease, you slipped further outside their reach. And the divine forces assigned to souls of unusual destiny have been documenting every act of quiet discipline, every moment of integrity performed without applause, every standard you held when the environment around you was pulling toward compromise. Both sides have been tracking your name, one with fear, one with anticipation. They watched when you stayed committed to your craft during a season when no one was celebrating it, when the numbers were low and the silence felt like rejection, but you showed up anyway. They watched when someone with more visibility took credit for something you built, and you absorbed the injustice without allowing it to make you bitter or cause you to shrink your output. They watched when you were offered a faster path that required you to compromise your standard, and you declined it, choosing the slower road of authentic construction. They watched every late night, every private discipline, every moment you invested in. Becoming better when becoming comfortable was available. When the complete record of your consistency was compiled and presented before the councils that govern the distribution of influence and recognition, the beings who classify souls according to their readiness for elevation, reviewed your case and reached a unanimous conclusion. You had been doing the work of someone operating at a level of influence you had not yet been granted access to, which in cosmic law creates an automatic debt the universe owes you, the rooms that match the work you have already been performing in private. They classified your soul as preloaded, meaning your capacity for the next level was already built and waiting for the door to be opened. And when that classification was confirmed and the report traveled upward through every layer of divine administration, it reached the archangels who govern the opening of doors, the ones assigned specifically to the alignment of human souls with the rooms, the tables, the conversations, and the opportunities their work has earned. They reviewed your record and signed off on the release. And then it went higher to the divine witness above all systems. And God looked at the gap between where you're standing and where your work has already earned you access. And God did not see potential. God saw a debt that heaven was now obligated to repay. And from that review, a decree was issued that set something irreversible into motion. The conversations happening about you in rooms you have not entered were not accidental. They were authorized. The people speaking your name in those spaces were moved to think of you, to mention you, to advocate for you by a force they cannot identify or explain. They simply found your name rising in their thoughts at the right moment in the right conversation. This is divine logistics operating at full capacity on your behalf. The decree did not just open one door. It released your name into every room that your work has already qualified you to enter. You are not who the waiting has made you feel like you are. The identity constructed by seasons of invisible effort, of unrecognized contribution, of building in silence while others were celebrated. That identity is a temporary costume worn by something far more ancient and far more powerful. You are a soul that was specifically designed to build before being seen, to master before being recognized, because the level you are being elevated to requires a foundation that cannot be faked. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are a chosen architect of influence whose name was always going to travel ahead of you to prepare the rooms before your arrival. Your mission is not simply to enter the rooms where your name is being spoken. Your mission is to transform those rooms when you arrive. You are being sent into spaces of influence, not to consume what is there, but to elevate it, to introduce a standard of integrity and excellence that those environments have been lacking. Every room that receives you will be permanently changed by your presence. Your assignment is to carry the frequency of disciplined, authentic, principled contribution into spaces that have been operating on shortcuts and performance, and to demonstrate, simply by existing at your full standard, that there is a better way to build. And because your mission has been officially authorized, the material architecture of your life is beginning to rearrange itself to match your assignment. Invitations will arrive from directions you did not pursue. Collaborations will be proposed by people who found your name through channels you did not manage. Financial opportunities will surface through conversations you are not present for, but that were entirely about you. The physical coordinates of your life, where you work, who you work with, what resources you have access to, are all in the process of being reconfigured to place you in proximity to the rooms where your name is already circulating and your seat is already being prepared. As you begin to move into these new rooms, something will happen to everyone who witnesses your arrival. They will feel it before they can explain it, a sense that the standard in the room has shifted, that something more serious and more authentic has entered the space. People around you will begin to raise their own standards simply by observing yours. They will begin to believe that consistent, integrity-based work actually leads somewhere, because they will be watching it lead you somewhere in real time. You will not need to teach this lesson or preach. Your trajectory will become the most compelling argument that patience and excellence are not naive strategies. And here is what will expand your understanding of what is happening. You are not the only soul whose name is traveling into rooms ahead of their body right now. Across this world, thousands of people who chose discipline over distraction, authenticity over performance, and patient construction over shortcuts are simultaneously experiencing this same phenomenon. Their names are moving through conversations in rooms they have not entered. Their work is creating access they have not yet walked through. They are waking up to the same realization you are having in this moment, that the invisible season was not wasted time, but active preparation, and that the rooms are now opening for all of them at once. If this message reached you today, it was because your name is already moving, and something wanted you to know it. Do not let this moment dissolve into the scroll. Comment 777 right now to confirm that you received this transmission and to signal to every force watching that you are aware, you are ready, and you are moving. Share this with someone who has been working in silence and beginning to doubt whether it matters, because they need to know their name is traveling too. Subscribe so the next message finds you, because what follows will show you how to carry yourself when you finally walk into the rooms that have been waiting for you.